Hello everyone and welcome back to Xbox Nation, and to the video where I'll be covering the 12 brand new Xbox and Game Pass games coming up for this week. We are seeing some really big games releasing this week, and I know one is highly sought after as it's been a PC hit for many years. This is a slightly weaker week though in terms of Game Pass, but do stay tuned for tomorrow's video as I cover the next Xbox Game Pass announcements for the remainder of July and into August. But with that out of the way, let's dive into the games coming our way for this week. First up and coming to us on the 15th of July is Eden Zero, and this is a new 3D action role-playing game from Konami. This of course is set in the vibrant space fantasy world of Hiro Mashima and lets us relive the original story and experience a host of new content, all brought to life with gorgeous anime style 3D graphics. On top of the original story though, the game will feature loads of new story beats, and the developers have mentioned that there will be over 200 quests set in this vast open world that really does bring the planet of Blue Garden to life that we'd never seen before. You can then also expand the facilities on your ship called the Eden Zero, which serves as your central hub in the entire experience. It is certainly not a game that really does interest me, but if you like anime and those sort of JRPG experiences, then this will need to be on your list for this week. At the PC gaming show earlier this year, Aspyr finally revealed its rumoured remaster of Neverwinter Nights 2, a classic Obsidian CRPG using the 3.5e D&D rules and set in the same Forgotten Realms campaign setting as the Baldur's Gate series. Well, finally, Neverwinter's 2 Enhanced Edition will be releasing this week on the 15th of July, and this is one that I'm actually quite looking forward to trying for the very first time. This package though comes with the base game and all 3 official expansions, which is some pretty fantastic value out the gate. I know many do like the overall package here, but a highlight that I hear time and time again is the first expansion called The Mask of the Betrayer. This is due to it being a more moody, cerebral and weird RPG, and it does harken a lot to Disco Elysium. Having a look though, it does launch for £25 here in the UK or $30 in the US, but I know there's also a pre-order discount if you are interested. This next game is one that I've had high on my radar for quite some time, and going by the reviews that I've dropped as of today, this is another must-play title and probably a real hidden gem for 2025. The isometric gameplay of Eriksholm: The Stolen Dream may not be the adventure game style that you're really used to, but this gorgeous title was actually being created by a handful of Mirror's Edge and Battlefield developers. This game though is set within the early 1900s in a world that the devs are calling not entirely like our own. The main protagonist though is called Hannah, and her story centers around her brother Herman who disappears. Of course, this means that her search does set off a chain of catastrophic events and will not only alter their own lives but also the destiny of the entire city. I have looked more into the reviews here, and it seems like the gameplay, challenges and the visuals here are absolutely insane, and to be honest, this has easily gone into my own basket to buy for this week. Ready or Not has easily become one of the most anticipated PC to console releases for this year, let alone this week. If you haven't come across it before though, this is basically one of the best tactical SWAT shooters on the market, and going by the reviews on PC, it's pretty clear to see this is actually the case. You will basically dive into different SWAT situations, so this can mean saving hostages, stopping terrorist plots, and so much more. Of course, the big highlight at the moment has to be the censorship issues, and that's also regarding the console release, and personally, I don't think it's the right thing to do, so I hope the developers do rectify it prior to launch, especially as we've seen so many games released with these adult ratings and still sell very well. I have even heard some murmurings from different outlets about the quality of this console port, and it's being pretty rough at this moment in time, so definitely be wary upon diving into this one. Personally, I will wait for some reviews that I do believe lands later today before its release date, and I highly recommend you do the same before diving into this one. With High on Life 2 set to drop later this year, now's the perfect time to catch up and see where it all actually started. Starting this week on the 15th of July, the original High on Life makes its return to the Xbox Game Pass library. This one was created by one of the minds behind Rick and Morty, and the game delivers that kind of exact absurd humour and trippy visuals that you kind of expect. While I did find that this one really doesn't reinvent the FPS wheel, the sharp writing, bizarre characters and imaginative worlds more than make up for it. If you're into offbeat comedy and enjoy weird, creative sci-fi stories, then this one is an easy recommendation for this week. I had a bloody good time playing it upon its release, and I'm pretty sure the sequel will bring more of the same chaotic fun, so it's well worth diving into this first entry if you haven't already. If automation games are more of your thing, then you probably need to keep your eye on Noodles for this week, as this one is an engineering puzzle game about robots making sushi. In this one, you'll basically take on different challenging assignments from a cast of quite intriguing clients, and then design complex and beautiful automations to uncover the truth behind Noodles. According to the reviews, since it was on PC for the past couple of years, the levels get progressively harder and the ways of solving them are limitless, which makes it fairly enjoyable. There were also mentioned that the UI and some of the controls are pretty poor, but of course that was 2 years ago now on release, so I would assume that they fixed this upon its console port this week. Even so, it launches onto Xbox very soon, so it's well worth diving into if you're a fan of these experiences. I do wonder how many of you have actually forgotten that a new RoboCop game actually releases this week, and that's because I, like you, have barely seen any marketing for this new standalone experience. RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business finally lands this week, and we can then don the metal frame of Alex Murphy once again, but this time heading into what's called the Omni Tower to face multiple different challenges. As this one is a brand new entry, this means we'll have access to some brand new weapons, some cool new brutal finishing moves, and what they're calling special missions. It does sound like a pretty straightforward premise on paper, but I'm sure that fans of Rogue City won't be complaining. Are you up for more RoboCop? Well, if you're like me, this is easily a must-buy this week, but in the meantime, if you do want to check out the first game, it is currently discounted quite heavily in the Xbox store right now. Next up, we have Battlecap, an indie game that was launched onto Steam back in December of last year, and it was actually quite widely loved upon its release. The concept here is pretty straightforward, but really engaging. You basically sail across the ocean, building battleships from floating bottle caps. With roguelike elements woven into the gameplay, you can collect boons and artifacts to unlock special abilities, gradually strengthening your own ships. This one is designed for up to 4 players, and the game offers both competitive and cooperative experiences. I will say though that this is only a local experience for now, as an online mode is not yet available. I did mention though that Battlecap was well received upon its release, amassing over 180 positive reviews on Steam within just the first 2 days of its initial release. If it seems like your kind of thing, it does come out on Xbox on the 17th of July. Next up, you can get thrown into a world that is being hit by the chaos of some extreme weather, and a walrus lighthouse keeper becomes an unlikely guardian of hope. In Diluvian Winds, you'll manage a growing hamlet that stretches across land, sea, and sky, offering shelter to a steady stream of anthropomorphic travelers, each with their own skills, quirks, and needs. Your job in this game, though, is to keep the lighthouse fire burning, accommodate your visitors, trade with passing merchants, and then prepare for natural disasters like tsunamis and underwater eruptions. With the help of your cousin's flying machine, though, you can also send out expeditions to gather different resources and uncover brand new opportunities. But with every decision you make in this game, obviously it does carry out some risk. With its blend of thoughtful management, cozy atmosphere, and a unique cast of characters, Diluvian Winds promises a fresh and charming survival experiences when it finally launches on the 17th of July. One little package I didn't realise releases this week is the Golden Tee Arcade Collection. Basically, Atari has bought several Golden Tee arcade titles under one banner with the name Golden Tee Arcade Classics, and it looks pretty substantial. There's 8 different arcade titles that will be included, going all the way back to the original and then adding in other titles that use the same mechanics. The main experience is letting us dive into the formative years of Golden Tee, faithfully preserved and optimized for our newer consoles. There is also the inclusion this time around of multiplayer, so up to 4 players can compete across all game modes, and yes, you can even earn achievements. If you are a golf fan, then no doubt you might be wanting to check this one out, either for some fun or just nostalgic reasons, but I for one am not interested in the slightest. Bandai Namco surprised us all earlier this year with what's called Shadow Labyrinth, and it's a dark reimagining of Pac-Man. To celebrate the 45th anniversary of Pac-Man this year, this action platformer takes us into a gothic-inspired labyrinth filled with atmospheric lighting and shadows that dynamically influence the gameplay. Unlike the original's arcade roots, Shadow Labyrinth actually infuses roguelike elements such as mazes, and they're all procedurally generated with every single run. You can of course expect some clever puzzles and complex enemy patterns in this experience, experience, and they do ramp up in terms of their difficulty. That inclusion of a deeper lore revolving around Pac-Man's mysterious origin and his eternal battle against Spectre overlords adds such a compelling narrative that has never been seen in this series before, and for one, I'm really loving that darker tone. This bold take is one that you won't want to miss when it lands this week on your Xbox consoles. Now, this bit of news isn't a new release, but an upcoming announcement that you need to be aware of for the 17th of July. Do you remember EXOMECHA? Well, this game was revealed all the way back before the Xbox Series consoles even got released, and the game went into a sort of dead silence for the past 4 years, with practically no news, gameplay, or even any murmurs over on Twitter. Well, as of today, the EXOMECHA Twitter account is finally live, and is said for all of us to tune in on the 17th of July to see EXOMECHA in action, and also some very important news which could certainly hint at a release date being very soon. I can't wait to see what happens, as I was in bloody awe when this first trailer dropped, and fighting in mechs Titanfall style in multiplayer battles sounds absolutely incredible. I will bring you more info as soon as it lands, so make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out. What game are you looking forward to this week, and what do you reckon we'll see in the Game Pass news as of tomorrow? You'll have to let me know down below. Remember though to like this video and subscribe, and while still here, why don't you check out the most recent video that I covered on the channel, which is about the massive sales going on in the Xbox store right now.